Hi, Guardiane here. First, I want to apologize to people again for not having a video up lately. Just been, now that summer is technically over with kids going back to school and all that stuff. Hoping I'll have more time to do videos, but same old stuff. I'm not going to get into that again. Though no one's looking for an apology, I like to provide one anyway. So, anyway, I thought I'd do a quick review on this Android game I've been playing. It might be up for iOS too, I'm pretty sure it is. Called Final Fantasy Record Keeper. It's a free Android game. Of course, there's paid aspects to it, like you get to buy gems and invest those into cooler things. But to me, it's not worth spending. Like, if you see the prices, I'll show you here. Like, it's ridiculous. Who spends this kind of money on a free game? Anyway, that aside, you don't even need to buy any legit stuff. You can still have just as much fun playing the free aspects of this game. It's like an old school-esque, like SNES style Final Fantasy game, really. The way the sprites look, the way the gameplay is, it's like very old school feeling. It's why I picked it in the first place. I'm an old fogey who prefers or appreciates the older style games more. And when I saw this, out of the mass amount of available Final Fantasy games for free on Google Play or Store or whatever it's called, I'm like, what the hell, which one do I pick? But this one, like, right away, the way the graphics looked, I'm like, alright, I'm going to start with this. And I have not been bored yet. I've had it for a couple of months, and it just keeps going and going. Like, they're constantly updating the game. I mean, every week there's a new event going on where you can do different, like, mini-stories from previous Final Fantasy games. And adding different items all the time, adding existing dungeons, like they're just constantly updating, like every day it feels like. So it's not going away anytime soon. So what it is really, besides an old school feeling game, the whole story of this game, which I'll show you quickly here. In a kingdom that survives on the harmony between magic and art, stories have been passed through history, blah 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 blah. Basically, he plays a kid named Tyro, who is assistant to Dr. Mog, and you have a history of basically live in a world where all the Final Fantasy games history are recorded in one universe, and they're in painting form for some reason. The paintings are fading, so you have to go in each painting, relive each experience from each Final Fantasy game, and restore the paintings. The story is, aside. That's the excuse to have every single
sucker.
Sorry, to have every single Final Fantasy character in the game. So far, I think it was up to, how many Final Fantasy games are there now? Jeez, I stopped playing after like Final Fantasy 12, and I even finished that game. I think it was up to 15, maybe. I don't know. So far, I think it goes up to that. I'll show some actual full screen footage of this game in a minute, and I'll explain in greater detail. But it has so far every single Final Fantasy game to date in there, even Tactics, my very absolute favorite game of all time. Well, the original Tactics, they don't have an A2 or the sequel so yet. They're going to put them in there, But the more familiar, famous ones, like this, the numbered ones, like 1 through 15 in Tactics so far, but they're always adding stuff, like I said. They have almost every single character from those games in it. They're still adding more all the time. Even the villains. You can play as Sephiroth and Gabriel, I don't know what his name is. Golbez from Final Fantasy IV, and it's cool. I mean, maybe I should show some full screen stuff, and I'll do some voiceovers as I'm playing. This is actual footage I've done on an emulator. Which is cool, actually, that you can sync your game with your Google account, and you can play it from any device or even an emulator, and they all sync together. So whatever I do on here, it'll sync with my phone next time I play, so I don't have to worry about losing out anything. And I'm sure other games have this feature, but I don't play many Android games, so I didn't know that. I thought that was so cool. So yeah, this is me, actual gameplay. You have to apologize in advance. It's going to be vertical video. They don't have a horizontal option for this game. I've tried. It's vertical only. So I'll put some weird sparkly animations in the background and the black spots. You're not going staring at terrible vertical video, because I hate vertical video. I didn't have a choice here, I'm sorry. I can stretch it, make it look friggin' ridiculous if you want. It looks fat. Fat 32. Okay, so I'm gonna do some full screen and voiceover.
How dare you! How dare you! You piece of shit!
Okay, so here it is. Final Fantasy Record Keeper. It's just loading. This is the first screen you get when you turn it on, and first thing I did was I went to manage account, and right away I linked it to my Google account. That way, if you ever play on any other device, whether it be an emulator or another phone, it'll play from the same account. Otherwise, you play, and you get a tutorial to go through all this, naturally. But if you don't want to bother going through the tutorial, I'll try to do a quick run through what all this is. So, this is your home screen. Realms Dungeon area. That's where all your main story arc gameplay is, where you start off doing everything. And you want to start there naturally. You want to run into the event dungeons yet. Even the Nightmare dungeons, I don't do yet. The event dungeons, these are changing like every week, or if not every day sometimes. They add new stuff to do here. Just in case you've done all of the realms, like you've finished the story arc, which I haven't done yet. You just wait for the events to come out so you can play those instead. Or you can do both. When you get to a certain level, though, the events are much more fun, like where I'm at right now. Nightmare, again, is super skilled, ultra pro, turbo, cheap dungeon, where I can't even do one of those. I'll get into that later, though. So those are for when you're super hardcore. I've not quite achieved that level. So that's the home page. The party page is where you can adjust all your characters and equipment and skills, blah, blah, blah. Upgrade and inventory, just as it says. And relic draw. That is... I'll get into that later. Okay, so let's just start with the Realms dungeon here. Just to skim over, it shows every single Final Fantasy game to date. I think there's only 14 if there's more, I don't know. I'm sure they're going to add it because they're always updating this game all the time. Basically, all it does is go through, say, you start with 7 normally, actually, when you play this game. It just pretty much takes you through major story points in the game, and each dungeon is usually like a few battles and a boss fight, and at the end you collect certain rewards. And pretty much that's all it is for each one. The new part for me means there's new dungeons for that game that I can play through I haven't done yet. And this is where you start, and you want to go through this, because the main story arc is the only place where you can get stamina crystals. And if you look up here, it says 84 out of 84. That's my stamina. Each time you do a dungeon or a battle, it takes so much stamina away to the point where you get to 0, and you have to wait so many hours for it to refill. It's one of those games, which is fine for someone like me, because I can't play a lot anyway. So I just play for as long as my stamina lasts, which honestly is like maybe 10 battles or so, depending what difficulty level you're playing on. That's a thing too. If you say you beat all the regular skill levels for that game, there's Elite Dungeon, and you can do the same run through but on tougher difficulties, which I haven't done these yet. Difficulty 14 for me is nothing. I can do maybe a difficulty 90 right now for my level. Otherwise I get my ass handed to me. So there's always lots of stuff to do. But this is the main story arc. You want to do this to get the rewards as well as stamina crystals, so you can play longer. In the event dungeon, well, again, I said they're always releasing new stuff every week. Like there's daily dungeons where you can just collect orbs to up to your skills and stuff, and event dungeons, which like you can get new characters and stuff, and random. It changes all the time. And Nightmare I can't click on because it's closed. It only opens certain times a month, I think. I don't know why. That's just something neat they do. Okay, let's go. This is my 3rd time redoing this now. The party screen. So this screen speaks for itself, pretty much. You can change your characters here, equipment, everything the party want to do here. And you're probably wondering right away, how did they end up with a party like this? This wasn't my first choice, but it just so happened to work out this way because, well, let's see. each character you can get pretty much a super weapon for in time. You'll find out what I mean when you play the game. And when you get a super weapon, it unlocks a super soul break, which is very crucial to beating the harder enemies later on in the game. So it just so happened that I happened to find all these characters' super weapons, so it's more convenient to have them. This guy, for example, your main character, his name's not KO by default, that's the name I gave him. He's probably one of the most convenient characters to have because he can use pretty much any skill in the game, I think. So far it seems. And I happen to conveniently find his unique and super soul breaks. There's more, but this is what I found so far. Otherwise, yeah, Cloud, you get him by default anyway, one of the first characters you get, and I like him, so I kept him. Lightning, I never even played Final Fantasy 13. I don't even know why I have her. I just thought she looked cool. I think because I unlocked her wardrobe by chance. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll keep her, and I have a high enough level for her now that I didn't feel like starting over again with a new character, even though it's not hard to do that if you needed to. Selfie, I didn't even like Final Fantasy VIII at all. I just happened to get a super weapon, like I said. Edge, I do like, because I love Final Fantasy IV, and I happened to get his unique weapon, so it worked out to keep him. And each character, max level you can get for them by default is 50, I believe. Yes, it's 50. And in time you can unlock, what did they call it again? Let's see here. There's like level crystal low or memory crystals. That's it. You unlock memory crystals so you can break their level cap and put them up higher. So the star next to their name indicates I broke their level cap at least once. Edges I've done twice, so you can get up to level 85, which I'm 80. That was 85. Sorry, I'm almost there. Yeah. So it looks like besides equipment, the abilities you get you have to make by getting gems throughout the game. So when you beat like a regular dungeon or an event dungeon, they drop every match pretty much. They drop crystals, and the crystals you can use to combine to make abilities. And soul breaks you usually get from the equipment that you use. You get one by default to start. The record material you unlock as you break the level caps. So when I broke my first level cap, it gave me this record material by default. Edge I've got 2 of them for, because I broke his level cap twice. What was the second one? I think it was Smoldering Fury. I just never bothered to use it. I don't know now what it was. I unlocked 2 of them. I forget what the second one was. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for the character screen. Let's go over to the upgrades. I'm probably missing some things here, but I'm honestly just trying to skim through this. I've been reading this too many times now. So, just to sum up the equipment screen, all the items you pretty much find in the game. You don't buy them. You find them through enemy drops or relic draws or events. Abilities, again, you make with the crystals you find as well. And these are the crystals here. I got a ton of them. It looks like I have a ton of them, but I really don't. The really good crystals are like these ones here. And I only have so many of them, so I can't really make anything cool yet. Upgrade materials, this is what you use to upgrade your weapons. Growth eggs, this is what you can use to speed up your character leveling process if you don't want to wait. For example, like if you want to start from a level 1 character you've unlocked a super weapon before, you can use your growth crystal or growth egg, sorry, and it's maximum like level 50 right away if you want it. If you have enough of these, which I have lots of. Memory crystals are what you need to break the level cap. Either you find them, mostly. You can actually buy them to in a way later. I'll explain. Moats, I'm still not really. They just came up with these. I'm not too familiar with these yet. We'll go through the screen here, and I'll give you a better idea. Upgrade equipment speaks for itself. I have a level 1 dagger, and if I want, I can upgrade it so I can make it more powerful. But I'm just gonna chuck that. I'm not sure why I haven't. Probably just random drop. But definitely you want to upgrade, say, like my super weapons, which I've done level 20 already. But just because you maxed out the level doesn't mean you can't later on combine it. If I could find another exact same super weapon of this kind, I'm pretty sure I can combine them together and I can further upgrade this to a higher level. but it took me long enough to get this super weapon or find it by chance that I'm not going to be able to combine it anytime soon. But yeah, for example, I'll show you an example of combining. I actually have previous footage where I've combined armor to give you a better idea. Create abilities, like I said before, you need so many crystals to create your spells, and if you want to know who can use what, you just say, choose character. I'll say one of my characters, say like, I'll just pick a random one. Kane. It automatically defaults to all the abilities he can use, and if you have enough crystals to make it. And that speaks for itself. Hone abilities. So all that really means is that when you make an ability at first, it usually has only 2 uses. In time, you can hone it or upgrade it so it's more than 2 uses, which would be helpful, especially for the longer, harder dungeons you do later. If you use it twice in one battle, that's it. You can't use it for the rest of the dungeon until you're finished. So you want to usually hone them as much as you can, especially your cure ones I have. I usually max out the honing on those if I can. So I find in harder dungeons I'm healing a lot. So that's all that is. Shatter abilities, if you made ability you don't like, or you need certain gems to make even a better ability, you can shatter your pre-existing ones and get your crystals back. Orb exchange is if you need, say, I need more major orbs, I can exchange these smaller ones to get some better ones so I can make better skills. Growth eggs, I think I spoke of this already, that say I want to use Luneth here, because I have a super weapon, I can use the growth eggs on them, bring up to like level 50 right away if I want to, so I'm not having to power level him manually, which could take forever. So that's really nice to have. Break level cap, you have to have memory crystals for, and you have to max out the default level to 50 first before you can use it. The first cap brings him to 65, the second cap is to 80. I don't think there's a third cap yet. Wardrobe records, it's just for fun. You can change their appearance. I've unlocked these people's appearance by chance, either an event, usually from events. Like Rydia, by default, she's a little girl, and if you're going to play Final Fantasy IV, that's how you find her. And later on, she becomes an adult. But I unlocked the wardrobe for her adult form. I preferred to keep her in my team, but I don't have any super weapons for her yet, so I couldn't. Sephiroth 2, I prefer to keep her in my team, but again, don't have a super weapon, and Lightning. I kept her because her wardrobe was the first one I ever unlocked. So, and record spheres. This is newer-ish, and I'm still not too familiar with it. But all I know is that you can collect these motes, and you can use them to update minor, like +1 defense, plus I don't know, minor abilities if you have enough motes. I don't fully understand that yet, but one of those things you just have to play, figure out for yourself. Alright, that's all for that. Relic draw is purely for fun, but this is how you get your super weapons, really. I don't think you can find them by pure chance. You have to actually go through relic draws. And relic draws you can use with Mithril. And Mithril you accumulate like any other dungeon, whether event dungeons or regular dungeons. You usually get 1 or 2 Mithril, maybe even more per dungeon. So after hearing that, you're probably thinking, well, it's going to take forever to gather, say, as many as I have, 111, but no, it really doesn't take that long. Plus, you get 1 relic draw per day, so you have to use any Mithril, but they usually end up being really crap items, so who cares. But yeah, in time, they do like special relic draws where it's half price, which these are great because it's, for example, half price is usually 25 mithril to do an 11 rare relic draw, where by default it's 50. And I never try to use 50 unless I really want to. Like I have 111. I really should use them, but I like to keep an excess amount of mithril just in case a draw comes out that I really want to do. I could do multiple times, but so far there hasn't been really any exceptional draws I wanted to do. Like, and what I mean is, like, say, look at this Super Soul Break. Basically, it tells you up here what do you have a chance of winning. Like a special weapon for what's her face. And so for all these items you can win, I don't care for these characters, so I don't want their special weapons. Not to say I wouldn't try going for it anyway if I had enough mithril, but I want to spend 50. You can use gems, but gems is where you use real money. You have to use real money to buy this stuff, and I don't want to invest in this game. I'm playing for fun. So if you feel like investing real money, you can do that, but look at that, 3,000 gems. I think I showed before screenshots of how much gem it cost to buy gems. It's freaking rip-off, man. Like, forget it. No, thank you. So I pretty much think I explained the game in a nutshell. There's more to it, but I just want to give you an idea of what the game is like, what to expect. It's really fun, and it's just worth figuring out for yourself and giving it a try, especially when it's free. You can't go wrong. I really love this. This is addicting for a free Final Fantasy game. There's a lot of free Final Fantasy games, but I haven't bothered trying. But if you like old school style games, then I say give this a try. Oh, and by the way, if you want to add me as a friend in this game, you can. Profile. Oh yeah, this is where you can set... Here's my friend ID, by the way. YMVU. Capital Y, capital M, capital V, lowercase u. You can look me up, you can add me as a friend, and you'll see my Roaming Warrior, which you could choose. Roaming Warrior is pretty much, I think, anyone of all the characters you own, or just in your party. Yeah, anyone you own. So, you basically you want to pick someone of a high level with a good super soul break or something. I only picked Edge because he's my highest level character and he has a unique soul break, and what happens if someone picks your Roaming Warrior in a battle, you get bonus money at each time you log back into play. Dung-a-dung, yeah, I'm not going to explain what that means. Miles knows what that means. But yeah, if you want to add me, when you play this game, add me as my friend ID. I'll be glad to add you back. I won't tell me who your name really is. I'll just say, such and such is added you as a friend. I won't know who you are unless you go on and leave a comment in the video and say, hey, this is me, add me. I'll be glad to if you play. It's really fun. Just to further explain the Roaming Warrior thing. Let's say, pick a dungeon here. Let's see an idea. Blah, blah. Say 7. First map, enter. First enter, you get to pick your team. Oh yeah, by the way, when you play a dungeon, if you have a character that's meant to play in that realm, like I'm playing Final Fantasy VII dungeon, they'll get bonus stats and experience for that too, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, so when you see, you get to pick Roaming Warrior, and usually by default it'll find random people for you. And if you like them, you can follow them, and you can use them going forward. So I always follow people with really high levels and really good super skills, like this burst one, for example. I find really helpful when doing high level dungeons. But yeah, so this is what'll happen when you add me as a friend. It should by default put me as one of the people in your list here. But you can always scroll for more and find new people to add if you feel that the ones you've added so far are good enough. Anyway, that's it again. The game in a nutshell. Maybe went too much into detail, but I thought I'd give people a better idea. Because I don't know, sometimes when I play these games, I get intimidated by all the stuff you can do, and I get demotivated for wanting to play. But I'm weird like that. So anyway, I hope this helped you. I hope to see you play, and I hope you add me as a friend on the game. And yeah, I guess I'll see you all later.